The mate bond snapped into place 3 months ago. In this moment, I wish it had never existed at all. I stand in the center of the ancient ceremonial circle, surrounded by 200 wolves whose eyes burn with judgment and disgust. The autumn wind cuts through my thin dress, but I barely feel the chill. All I feel is the mate bond writhing in my chest like a dying animal, screaming at me to run to him, to make him understand, to fix the unfixable. Alpha King Dante Blackwood sits on the high dais, looking every inch the ruthless sovereign history claims him to be. 6'5" of lethal grace and suppressed power, with storm-gray eyes that once held a flicker of tenderness. Now, those eyes are cold as winter steel, and the hatred in them makes me want to be swallowed by the earth. Alora Whitmore, his voice carries across the grounds, formal and detached. You stand accused of infidelity to the mate bond, of carrying another male's pup while bound to me. How do you answer these charges? Not guilty, I whisper, but my voice is too broken. I clear my throat and try again, louder. I am not guilty. I've never been with anyone else. I swear on the moon goddess herself. Do not dare invoke her name, Dante snarls. The alpha command in his voice hits me like a physical blow, driving me to my knees. The jagged stones of the altar scrape my skin, drawing blood that seeps into the ancient cracks, but I don't dare move. You have already dishonored the bond. Do not add blasphemy to your crimes. The evidence is undeniable, Beta Marcus, my own father, speaks from beside the king. His voice is hollow, defeated. He won't even look at me. Alora has suffered morning sickness for weeks. We found the test she tried to hide. The pack doctor confirmed it yesterday. She is 8 weeks pregnant. A collective gasp ripples through the crowd. This ceremony is a mere formality, a public humiliation before the inevitable execution of my soul. But it isn't what you think, I plead, looking desperately at my father, then at my king. I don't understand how this is happening. I've never been intimate with anyone. Enough lies! Dante's roar silences the forest. He descends the platform with predatory grace. Every wolf in the circle shrinks back as he passes, but I am frozen, pinned under the weight of his fury. He stops directly in front of me, towering over my kneeling form. For one heartbeat, the bond surges between us, trying to bridge the chasm. And in that second, I see it, a flicker of agonizing pain in his eyes, a longing so intense it steals my breath. Then it's gone, replaced by a mask of ice. I felt it, you know, he says quietly, his voice more terrifying than the shouting. 3 days ago, I felt the exact moment another male's scent tainted your soul. The bond went cold. That was when I knew what you'd done. No, I breathe, shaking my head. I remember the morning I saw those 2 pink lines, the terror, the confusion, the impossible reality of it. Werewolves cannot conceive without being marked. It is a biological impossibility. Unless... I rejected you once before, privately, Dante continues, his voice dripping with contempt. I told you that you were a weak omega, beneath the station of a queen. I should have performed the public rejection then, but I was fool enough to show mercy. The words are knives, each one finding its mark in my bleeding heart. Yes, he had rejected me after the bond formed, but he had also whispered that he needed time, that perhaps we could find a way. I had held on to that hope like a lifeline. You couldn't accept my decision, Dante sneers, so you sought comfort in another male's arms. Or perhaps you thought a pregnancy would trap me? Force me to claim you despite your inadequacies? I didn't. The protest bursts from me, raw and desperate. I have been faithful to a man who didn't even want me. I don't know why this life is inside me, but it isn't a betrayal. Then explain it, he demands, releasing my chin with enough force that I nearly fall backward. Explain how an unmated, rejected Omega becomes pregnant. There is only one explanation. I open my mouth, but the truth sounds like madness even to me. I have no explanation. Your silence speaks for you, Dante says coldly. He turns to the assembly. Let it be known, I, Alpha King Dante Blackwood, hereby reject Alora Whitmore as my fated mate. She is faithless. She is unworthy. No, I whisper. I reject you utterly and completely, Dante bellows, the ancient words of the vow-breaking ritual vibrating in the air. From this moment, you are nothing to me. The bond is severed. You will never be my Luna. You will never be my mate. The bond shatters. I scream. It isn't a human sound. It's the sound of a soul being torn in half. The pain is beyond anything I've ever known. Like every nerve in my body is being set on fire, while my wolf howls in the dark corners of my mind. Around me, the pack watches in silence. My father turns his back. The pup she carries is an abomination, Dante announces, his back still toward me. It should be destroyed before it can be born into shame. Horror cuts through the agony. My hands fly to my stomach, protectively curling around the impossible life within. You will not touch my child, I gasp through clenched teeth. This baby is innocent. The baby is proof of your treason, my father says, his voice like a grave. It has no place here, Alora. It would be a mercy to... Mercy? I struggle to my feet, swaying but refusing to stay down. Blood trickles down my legs from my ruined knees, but maternal instinct is stronger than the bond sickness. Where was mercy when I was accused without a hearing? Where was mercy when I begged you to believe me? Silence! Dante's alpha command crashes over me, forcing my body to bow. You are banished from all packlands, effective immediately. You are a rogue. If you return, you will be killed on sight. Banishment. A death sentence for a pregnant, broken Omega. Dad, please. I look at my father one last time. I have no daughter, he says. My daughter died the day she betrayed her king. The last string of my old life snaps. I straighten my spine, looking at Dante's rigid shoulders. I hope you're right about me, I say, my voice steady for the first time. I hope I really am faithless. Because if I'm not, if I'm telling the truth and you've just destroyed your own mate and condemned your own child, then you will have to live with that for eternity. And no amount of power will ever let you forget. I turn and walk away. I walk through the crowd of wolves who used to be my friends. I walk until I reach the tree line, and only when the shadows of the forest swallow me do I allow myself to collapse. A twig snaps behind me. I whirl around, expecting an executioner. Dante stands at the edge of the clearing, half hidden in the mist. The mask of the ruthless king has cracked, revealing a face ravaged by a different kind of pain. I lied, he says, his voice a ragged whisper, about feeling the bond go wrong 3 days ago. I didn't feel a thing. But I had to say it. I had to make the rejection stick so the council wouldn't demand your execution. I stare at him, my heart hammering against my ribs. If I hadn't rejected you, he continues, taking a step closer, My enemies would have realized you were my weakness. They would have hunted you to destroy me. I rejected you to keep you alive, Alora. And the child? I whisper. You called it an abomination. I don't know what to believe, he says, his jaw clenching. I cannot explain that pregnancy. But I cannot take back the rejection now. The laws are set. If I reverse it, the kingdom falls into civil war. He tosses a heavy leather pouch and a silver pendant to the ground. There is enough gold to get you to the southern cities. The pendant bears my private seal. If you are ever in mortal danger, break it. I will know. I will come for you. Why give me anything if I'm a traitor? I ask bitterly. Because I am a coward, he says, his voice breaking. I am too afraid to stand by you and risk my throne, but I am too weak to let you die. Before I can speak, he shifts. A massive black wolf leaps into the undergrowth and vanishes into the night. I am left alone in the dark, clutching a bag of gold and a pendant from the man who ruined me. The bond is gone, leaving a hollow ache in my chest. But as I touch my stomach, I feel a spark, a tiny, defiant warmth. Dante thinks he gave me a chance to survive. He's wrong. He gave me a reason to come back. I stand up, ignoring the blood and the pain, and walk into the unknown. I am not walking toward death anymore. I am walking toward the truth.